Hello, and welcome to EssayMaster's Medical School Essay Course. In this course, we'll go over the essays you'll encounter in both your primary application and some of the prompts that you'll come across in your secondary application. We're going to start with a high-level overview, then go over your personal statement, sometimes called the personal comments. We'll go over your activities list, and then finally we'll end with a video on the other types of prompts before closing with a video summarizing some final steps that you can take. So without further ado, let's get started. This course aims to help you craft the strongest essays possible that are unique and specific to you so that you can maximize your chances of getting into a top medical school program. When we talk about any essay, whether it's the personal statement, activities list, or otherwise, what we're ultimately talking about is how you show your drive for medical school and your qualifications for such an arduous, yet meaningful and rewarding career. Let's start by defining why your essays matter. Your essays allow you to share your story and what compels you to attend medical school, as well as how you are qualified in a way that would never show up in your GPA or your test scores. Almost everyone is going to have a GPA between a 3.0 and a 4.0, and all high-level applicants have an MCAT score over 510. But the essay is where you distinguish yourself from other applicants. It's really the best spot to show who you are, and in some ways, it's actually the only spot to do so. Although some schools will have different secondary prompts, all medical schools will start with the primary application, which will include the first two items on this list. One, the personal statement, or sometimes called the personal comments. With a 5,300 character count limit, roughly about 800 to 1,000 words, this is your chance to share your story for why you're interested in a career in medicine. Second, the activities list. Here, you have 700 characters per item, roughly about 100 to 125 words, to show the activities that have prepared you for medical school and beyond. After these, individual schools may have secondary applications that include additional essays. Although these can vary, typically you'll find one, an identity essay, where you talk about how a particular aspect of your identity influenced you to pursue a career in medicine, or other prompts, including future goals, why program essays, a more detailed explanation for one of your activities, and many others. One fundamental piece of advice you need to keep in mind for any essay, really for any type of writing, is to know your audience and what their expectations are. For the vast majority of schools, your application will be read by practicing physicians and medical students. This means that you don't need to write in a flowery, creative, risk-taking style you might have for your undergrad applications. You'll still want to write well, but your best bet is to be straightforward, clear, and detailed, not flowery or over the top. Above all else, remember the people's expectations. They want to learn about one thing, and that one thing is you. You must write compelling content that convinces these physicians and students you have what it takes to be a doctor. And the key word in that is you. Once you have internalized that, try and keep in mind our 5 laws of application essays. Law 1, read the prompt. You'd be amazed how often people copy and paste essays from one school to another, not bothering to check if one program asks about your identity in broad terms, while another specifies it being your nationality or skin color. While it's true plenty of your material can be reused from school to school, always check against what the exact wording of each prompt is. Law 2, understand your core message. In storytelling, this is called theme. In marketing, this is called your unique selling proposition, or USP. But however you want to define it, make sure you understand what you're trying to say both in the context of the specific essay and in how your overall application comes across. In other words, if you write in your personal statement about how your experience with at-risk youth has led you to a career as a pediatrician, but you talk about working with elderly patients in your activities list, reevaluate how you want to come across. Law 3, plan ahead. If you're an outliner, this is natural and you know exactly how to do it. You'll just be meticulous and detailed in every step of the way. If you're a vomiter, on the other hand, or someone who just writes on a whim and gets everything out as it comes to them, we still at least recommending knowing your core message and your story in place before you start to proceed. Law 4, love your first draft, hate your second draft. Writer's block on first drafts often comes from a sense of perfectionism, and choosing to love what you write no matter what will allow you to get your words on the page for that first draft. But once that's done, as Stephen King would say, it's time to quote, kill your little darlings. Be ruthless with your edits, your critiques, and your choice of words. You can't edit a blank page, but you should never show mercy to a full page. And finally, Law 5, respect the power of story. We'll go further into detail on this in each section, but in short, as Robert McKee, an author widely known for his story seminar, says, quote, to involve people at the deepest level, you need stories. Don't write your essays as essays, but as stories to show your dream program, who you are, and why you're qualified to be a doctor. And now that we've gone over some of the high level advice, we'll dive right into how to write specific essays, starting with the most important one of all, the personal statement.